Good evening. The February 15, 2022 meeting of the Human Services Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Blankley.
Here.
Mr. Blankley is present. Mr. Brew.
Here.
Mr. Brew is present. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman.
Present.
Mr. Vecchio Hoffman is present. Mr. Dondorfer.
Here.
Mr. Dondorfer is present. Ms. Hasman.
Here. Here.
Ms. Hasman is present. Mr. Keller.
Here.
Mr. Keller is present. Chairman Milne.
Here.
Chairman Milne is present. Ms. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Smith is present. Mr. Udelson.
Here.
Mr. Udelson is present.
Very good. We will need to suspend the rules of the legislature for the purpose of prohibiting public in-person attendance. You have a non-debatable motion on your agenda, which needs a maker and a second.
So move, Mr. President. Second, Brew.
We have a motion by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Brew. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is not, and there have been no email submissions.
And is there anyone present on this virtual call that is not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? Hearing none. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the January 25th, 2022 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk?
Referral number 22-0071, amend resolution 168 of 2021 to include an option to renew the contract with Tribe Ecotherapy for the provision of a mental health program as a holistic option for veterans struggling with mental illness for the Monroe County Department of Veteran Services.
Move it, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Are there any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
Referral number 22-0072, acceptance of a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for the CARES Act Provider Relief Fund, HHS Stimulus Phase 4 to address the financial impact of COVID-19 at Monroe Community Hospital.
Move it, Mr. Chairman. Second.
We have a motion by legislator Dondorfer to move, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And opposed, the same? Hearing none.
Referral number 22-0073, authorize a contract with Sealer Engineering PC to provide professional consultant services for the Monroe County Department of Public Health.
Move it, Mr. Chairman. Second.
We have a motion by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Keller. And are there any comments on this? Hearing none, I would ask for anyone that would like to vote for this, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed, the same. Seeing none. Thank you.
Referral number 22-0080, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Office of Mental Health for a mental health block grant system of care award.
Move it, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
A motion by legislator Keller, seconded by legislator Smith. Are there any comments on this?
Legislator Udelson.
Legislator Udelson, you have the floor.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, just a question to the administration, whether this grant money is for additional services or will just be used to support existing. Thank you.
To the administration.
Mr. Chairman, if you could bear with us one moment, please.
Absolutely.
I didn't unmute the phone.
No problem.
Mr. Chairman, we have Director Thalia Wright available for that, but would Legislator Nielsen mind repeating the question?
Not at all. My question through the chair was whether the $25,000 grant is for additional services or will just go to support existing services. Thanks.
Through the chairman, it would go to supporting existing services and also addressing any gaps in services that we have now.
Thank you.
Legislator Keller.
Legislator Keller, you have the floor.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman, likely also to Director Wright. I guess just expanding on the question that Legislator Udelson just asked about new or existing programs. The word used is to strengthen. I'm wondering if we might get some information about the efficacy of this program and where these funds might be targeted to strengthen the program.
Yes, through the chair. So the opportunity that we have with the $25,000 comes through the mental health block grant through the state. So out of the 18 counties, with Monroe was selected for the $25,000. I think that's going to be the question as we get the funding and start to analyze our service needs. So I think, we may be a little ahead with trying to speak to exactly where the funds are going to be directed to, rather than when I work with Dr. April Acock in the Office of Mental Health to utilize the funding to see where she may find that it could be best used. Again, thinking about what gaps in services that we may have, what additional funding may be utilized, because unfortunately it's kind of a one-time shot, and we're only going to get the funding at one time.
Okay, thank you, Director.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, then I would ask for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, the same? Hearing none.
Referral number 22-0081, amend resolution 15 of 2021 to accept additional funding from Health Research, Inc. and extend the time period for the epidemiology and laboratory capacity COVID-19 enhanced detection program.
Move it, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
That is moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Dondorfer. Are there any questions or comments on this? Hearing none. To move this forward, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed, the same? Hearing none, that is approved.
Referral number 22-0082, authorize scheduling and holding a public hearing, approve the submission of a grant application to, and authorize the acceptance of grant funding from the New York State Office of Community Renewal for the Community Development Block Grant, CARE Act, for the preparing, preventing, and responding to the coronavirus as a matter of importance.
Move it, Mr. Chairman. Second.
I have a motion by Legislator Dondorf, seconded by Legislator Brew. Are there any discussions or questions on this?
Legislator Keller.
Legislator Keller, you have the floor.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration. This is just it's a very broad item here. We've got the public hearing, we've got the submission, we've got the authorized acceptance of funding. Really, it's just a request that as we move through this, perhaps to be given some more information, especially with respect to where this funding would go and what obligations, if any, the county would have as a condition of accepting this money. Thank you.
And again, I believe that was a question to the administration, just to be clear.
It was, and I understand they may not be able to provide full details. Really just a request for more as we move forward. Like I said, especially with respect to what, if any, obligations we may have as a county as a condition of receiving this funding.
To the chair, this is Chanqua Community Development Manager. We are using the funding to extend the working capital grant that we are currently administering. In addition, we are also providing funding for legal assistance for folks who are facing eviction and have to appear in court.
Unfortunately, I believe maybe there was some moving around in the office or whatever. Would you mind please repeating that for the committee?
Yes, through the chair, this is Chanqua Community Development Manager. We're using the funding for two programs. One of them is a working capital grant program that we are currently administering. This funding will just expand our program and allow us to support more businesses. And the other portion of the funding will provide legal assistance, or we're providing funding to legal aid and a conglomerate of other legal providers to serve those who are facing eviction and have to appear in court.
Thank you, ma'am. Legislator Keller, is that acceptable?
It is. Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none. Again, I would ask all those in favor of moving this, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moved. And with that, I would ask if there are any other matters to come before this committee. Hearing none. There being no other business matters, the February 15th, 2022 meeting of the Human Services Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Human Services Committee will be held on Tuesday, March 22nd